Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Talk More Wrestling Podcast. The wrestling podcast we're going to review NXT Takeover Dallas. And what a humdinger show this show ended up being. My name of course is Turbo Tony. Right next to me on this very rare episode, we are together in the flesh, is my co-host Matt Marsander. How are you doing today, Matt?
Very well. That was good. It was a damn good show.
It was a damn good show. We watched this the day after WrestleMania.
To remind us that there is good wrestling out there.
That's right. And then maybe asking us why the reason we did that is simply because of the fact that you were flying over like on the Saturday.
Yep.
And you're working that day as well.
Yeah, and we had to get the week's recording out, so we did that on Friday.
Yeah. And the show wasn't even out then in Dallas. Because it was Friday.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, yeah, just no time at all.
Yeah, that's it. We could have watched it on, like, WrestleMania, like, day, but the very idea of watching, like, near on 7 hours of WrestleMania, which it did end up becoming, like, 7 hours of WrestleMania, and then having to watch, like, 2 hours beforehand of, like, you know, doesn't matter how good it is at that point, you're still going to get
still a lot
out.
of Yeah.
We've done a little bit of preparation for this show, and what it is in regards to is regarding that Nakamura match, which we'll get into a little bit there, because we've been asked a question in regards to whether that match is better than a certain other match he had this year. We went back and watched that match, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So let's get into the review then. Before we get into the review, see what I did there, that was a little bit of a swerve. We've got to do some of the plugs. If you'd like to interact with us via our Facebook page, that's the main way of doing so. It is facebook.com/Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast. You can also send my co-host here a tweet. And where would they do that from?
Of the tweets that is at Talk Wrestle Pod.
It is. That is the place where the tweets happen. That's where they live in harmony, right?
That's it. It's where they go. And they sit comfortably and await review.
And, of course, if you want to send us any audio questions or any private emails, any of the private sensual emails, you can send them to Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast @gmail.com. But you guys have had that so often by now, then I'm pretty sure that all you guys can do the plugs for us in the future. You know, we might do that. If anyone wants to send an audio of just the plugs of this show, I'll put that in so they don't have to hear us doing it every now and then.
That'd be so much easier.
Yeah, exactly. And I may just reuse that over and over again.
Don't be lazy, people.
Yeah. Alright then, guys, so obviously this show is called NXT Takeover Dallas, so of course it took place in Orlando.
Back a good old Full Sail.
Yeah, that's it, they did a swerve there. Takeover Dallas, of course. On WrestleMania weekend, it was kind of the start of the weekend's festivities. You had the access.
Of matches, yeah, I suppose.
And then you've got Mania, then you've got Raw, and then they head off on their way back on their usual rotation.
Back on the road, yeah.
Back on the road again. NXT, they go back to Full Sail for a new set of tapings, I imagine. So, only 5 matches on this card, which went just a little bit over 2 hours.
Yep.
When I say just a little bit, I mean just a little bit, not the little bit over 4 hours at WrestleMania did.
Nearly 5.
Yeah.
It's not even a little bit over 4, it's a little under 5.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. This was just about 2 hours 10, 2 hours 15 roughly, so...
Yeah,
overall.
about that.
And first of all, just before we get into all the matches, I like the fact that, as we're looking through the list of matches here, that pretty much all of them got at very least 10 minutes, and the majority of them got over 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Every single match got their
Well, only
time.
one of them didn't.
Yeah.
Get less than 15.
And that was just around 10 minutes. And to be honest, that was probably one of the most dull matches on the entire night, so it kind of makes sense for it to be a little bit less so.
Still good.
And when I say dull matches, I still think it was still okay. So it was
still a good match.
People instantly, Matt, are going to ask us to reference whether or not this is better than WrestleMania. I think people can make that assumption as we go along, but we'll answer that question at the very end of this.
Yeah, like a definitive. Was it better?
Yeah.
Either way.
That's it. Before we get into the actual matches there, Matt, the crowd at Dallas, how do you think the crowd at Dallas did compared to us at London?
Oh, don't say that. I'm biased.
Of course I'm biased. That's why I'm asking the question.
I don't know. They were good. It was a very good crowd. NXT always draws good live crowds. I think I do remember when sort of what was it? I saw a picture that somebody had put up about like, hey, we want some New Day, and I was like, no, that was the London chant. That was our Bailey chant. And then literally, as I said that, hey, we want to be, I was like, no, that's our chant.
Yeah, guys, I just want to tell everyone in Dallas
they were singing,
they
I
fucked up
want
the chant.
Like, I want to be like, hey Bailey, want to be your girl. It's like, no, Us!
No, it's not even that. They just went, ooh, ah, and then they went back onto it. No, you don't know the song. You know, you got to give it time. It's ooh, ah. I want. It's not like ooh ah, then go straight into it. You got to savor those extra couple of seconds, otherwise it doesn't work.
Flows.
So that's what happens when Dallas steals a few of our chants. They just don't get them right. They look a little bit silly. Silly. That's all it is. All right then, Matt. Let's get into the reviews of the matches. The show kicked off with a couple of dark matches that I'm sure will get taped and put on NXT next week.
Yeah.
Manny Andrade.
I will be rushing to watch that episode.
Yeah. To be honest, the matches on that particular card don't look particularly enticing, but still. And then Manny Andrade, Christopher Gerrard, and Apollo Crews and Elias Sampson, which I was quite happy didn't make it onto the main show. Let's just be honest. I wasn't too vocal about my love for that particular match.
To be fair, I couldn't give two craps about Elias Sampson. Yeah. It's a character that really hasn't won over on me.
He hasn't won over a lot of people. A lot of people, when they talk about him, aren't that happy with him.
Yeah.
If you can't get the NXT crowd behind you, then you've got something.
There's something wrong, really.
Yeah. But still, let's get into the actual into the matches on the main card. So it starts off American Alpha versus The Revival for the NXT Tag Team Championships. This was a fun match, Matt. Fun opener.
It was a very good match. I loved it, and it's like the one thing that I spent the entire match sort of watching. It's just like, I love The Revival. I'm sorry, they're such a great throwback team, and every dirty heel tactic was being thrown out here. From sort of like Dawson had his feet on the ropes, and Dash was hiding them.
The towel,
holding him or just down, the separating off of the ring, and it's such a great thing just to see.
Or faking the tag so they can get some time to beat him up on the time. That was good.
Just to get that sneaky attack.
That's it.
It was so good. But they were against the American Alpha, and we love the American Alpha more.
Yeah.
I think that's safe to say.
Yeah, let's give a little bit of love to the Revival here, because clearly American Alpha are going to get the majority of the plaudits here, and it was their moment.
Yeah.
But when you talk about the Revival here, Matt, and you say you love them, they are the quintessential heel team, right?
Oh yeah.
And I don't think there's enough teams, even if you look on the main roster, not a lot of the other teams do those small little dirty tactics like that really get them over in the match.
That's one of the little tricks, the little nuances that is heel tag wrestling.
You could even call them the dirtiest players of the tag team division, right? Almost like the Ric Flair tag team, right? Yeah. And some people are going to be angry instantly about
that we labelled them with a Ric Flair moniker.
Yeah, but they're the ones that do the most of those little tricks and the thumb in the eyes from here and there sort of thing.
Well, we had that. We even had that.
Yeah. So I think they played their role superbly, and I think they've done well as champions.
When they first won, I was sort of like, well, I like this team, but I don't know. And I think they've actually done fairly well as champions.
Yeah, I think
they've put on some good matches.
Yeah.
This one being the best match.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yet again, this is probably the bias towards my love for Jordan and Gable.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why I like this match there, Matt, is because you got like what I said, the quintessential heel team against the team that everybody wants to see succeed. Yeah, everyone wants to see these guys succeed. They're great wrestlers.
They built this match up so well. Like that video package of just sort of like, I got all the way to the championships at college and I failed. I got all the way to the Olympics and failed.
Yeah.
But I know what loss feels like, and I want to win.
Yeah.
And it's like that video package was great. I think they've built this match up very well.
Yeah.
And it delivered. It'd be terrible if they sort of like, yay, we're going to get to this match, and then that was that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
You know, one of the great things about American Alpha, they're almost like a sure thing because people just enjoy watching them wrestle.
Yeah.
You know, you got Gable doing his thing there. He's got that awesome mat-based style.
Like Greco-Roman wrestling, yeah.
And then when you got Jordan comes in, he adds something to himself: the suplexes, the sheer power, the intensity.
His picture-perfect drop kicks.
Yes. Right, they both bring something really interesting to this team. They're just fun to watch. They're fun to watch do their stuff in the ring. So when you've got these two stars clashing, and you've got two. What I like there is that they played up with a dynamic a little bit at a point because you thought maybe they're going to go to the usual thing of Gable taking a lot of the damage.
Yeah.
There was points where Jordan was the one taking a lot of the damage, and then trying to they tease that hot tag so well in this match, right?
And always like Dawson and Wilder were like, nah.
Yeah.
Even that point, like Wilder had managed to get under the ring, and just as like Gable was about to get the tag, Jordan's like, nope. feet were taken out from beneath him, and it was just so good. Just more of that heel tag goodness.
Yeah, they played it up so well. They teased it. They teased that tag. So when it finally hit that moment, of course, the fans are going to resonate with that.
Oh,
and then from there on, it was, it was chaos ensuing and suplexes and all that lot. And obviously, it is American Alpha walk out as champions. It's the right thing for them to do. I think it was the right thing. This is a team that I think has got tons of potential. They can have a great run with these belts now. The only thing I would say, though, is that apart from the Revival, you're looking around for other teams.
There isn't many.
You've got the Hype Bros, really.
We got the Vaudevillains back on the scene.
But they debuted on SmackDown, apparently.
Did they?
According to what I'm hearing, yeah.
I don't know.
So if they're getting
really, that's a waste.
A bit of a waste, yeah.
Then you've got Bliss's boys. You got the Dubstep brothers.
Considering that Blake and Murphy so easily swept them aside.
There you go.
You're trying to look for...
that's it. Well, it says a lot about Blake and Murphy, considering I'm just like, the ones with Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
I don't even care about those two. I just care about, the hot blonde ass.
Yeah. They're going to have to set up, that's what Joe goes for now, because there's not much for him to go for after this show. He's not exactly in a title hunt much now, what I would think of anyway. So maybe he teams up with another heel, and then that's the big heel team for... That's a still big money match if you have American Alpha trying to defend against Joe and another big bad guy.
I don't know if I like that.
I don't know, maybe...
I agree, it's something for Joe to do, but I don't think Joe should be anywhere near the tag team division.
I don't know.
But that's like you said, what can he do now? He can't really go for the... Well... We'll
get to it there. Either way about it, they've got to find a big heel team, and it could just be the Revival. They could have the rematch against the Revival in the next Takeover event. I just don't think that's... I think the Revival have done their job. I don't know.
Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah, well, I said that to you in the predictions, man. That wouldn't it be good if that in their moment when they're celebrating, it's Gallows and Anderson who come out and...
Yeah.
But a lot of people are saying that they're main roster bound instead of NXT, but we'll see when we get there. So a great opening match for the NXT tag titles, really fun, getting to see, and it was
fast-paced, loads of energy, and it was a great match.
Yeah. We lead into Austin Aries against Baron Corbin, probably the weakest match of the night, let's be honest. A match that didn't last as long, and I'm going to probably annoy a few people here. I've said before that I can understand why people are fans of Austin Aries.
Yeah.
For me, I've always think that he's been a little bit overrated, and I don't think he's nearly as good as what a lot of other people make him out to be. Now, I'm not saying that this was a bad match by any means, but I think it reiterated to me some of the reasons why I'm not so much on the Aries bandwagon as what a lot of other people are.
Yeah.
Now, he is still a great talent, and I'm not going to knock people for that. I just don't think he's nearly as good. I don't think he's like a high-class talent like Nakamura or Styles or something along those lines. Whereas some people blow his trumpet a little bit too far. That's just my opinion. And I know it's going to annoy some fans. That's just what I believe.
Yeah.
Now... It may annoy people legitimately a lot more to say that I'm more of a Baron Corbin fan than I am of Austin Aries, but that's a completely different reason. It's not because he's a better wrestler. I just like Baron Corbin. I like the progression of him. What did you think of this match, Matt? What did you think of...
I liked it. The finish was as expected, because it still kept Corbin strong, and like a guy... there were moments where it's like, wow, Corbin towers over Aries.
It almost looked like he had 2 feet over him.
That's it. I'd say the finish was predictable. You can't have Corbin just get defeated by this sort of, 5.5 foot guy.
Yeah.
He's not even 5'5", but you know what I'm saying. But it was good, and there were some quite physical moments, and it was there were some good spectacles like that. Oh, what do they call it? The Evil Six or whatever.
The Deep Six.
The Deep Six. That's it.
Outside, yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah.
And there were some moments where it's like, but yeah, I think it's if you compare it, I think it would go down as a good match. But if you compare it to everything else that was on this card, it makes it look worse.
Yeah, by
contrast. Makes sense.
Yeah, if this match were to happen on
on an actual NXT show,
I think it would be fine. And
that could be like a main event at Full Sail.
Yeah, that's completely okay. But like I said, especially what followed it, man, it's not even in the same ballpark. Like, it's a completely different level.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that match. I don't think there's much really need to be said about Austin Aries and Corbin, except for that reversal from the end of days. I thought was pretty nifty.
Oh yeah, that was really good. Like like almost float over into the finish.
Yeah, I thought that was a good way to finish the match because, as you say, the match it just didn't make much sense for Aries to be hitting this high impact move on a guy that's so bigger than he is.
Yeah,
massive.
That's it. Like it's typical booking. Like. Big guy, little guy. Little guy has to win. How does little guy do it? Well, he's clearly not going to knock the big guy out.
Yeah.
We're not going to have a proper David versus Goliath moment. We're going to have sneaky win.
Yeah. He's going to out wrestle him.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's got that on his side. So
that's it. He's a 10-year vet sort of thing.
Exactly. Here we go.
Oh.
I've been looking forward to talk about this. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn. Matt, I've almost run out of superlatives even thinking about how we're going to describe this match. So before we do get into the actual match, let's talk about Nakamura's entrance. His theme is ballin'. I love it. That is a great theme.
Yeah.
And the entrance, brilliant as well. It's so much more different than what a lot of other people bring. I mean, that's just Nakamura.
Well, it's his style. This is style summarised, isn't it? It's like, this is a bit different.
Yeah,
well, Nakamura's a bit different, to be fair.
He's
the king of strong style, does not hang around.
Yeah, he stands out from the crowd, right? That's his whole thing. And he is like, I think the common thing of what a lot of people say is that he's like Freddie Mercury, Michael Jackson, and like a world-class pro athlete, all rolled into one strange but amazing bundle, right?
Yeah.
And his entrance was cool. The fans huge into
loved
Nakamura.
It. I think the thing is, I think that further goes to show, like loads of people compare NXT to ECW.
Yeah.
In the fact that like the crowd knowledge,
that rabid fan base,
but it's like the ones that always seek something different, or they won't stick with that one product. Like. For the WWE main roster, if people went to someone like 6 months ago and go, "Who is Shinsuke Nakamura?"
Yeah.
And like,
yeah, don't know.
But if you went to an NXT crowd member,
yeah,
they'll go, "Oh, he's in New Japan. He's
yeah.
like the IWGP and all things like that."
Yeah.
It's like, and I think that sort of sets it apart.
Yeah.
But as a result, the reception that he got at Takeover was huge.
It was great. It was. He was treated like almost like a returning star.
Yeah,
sense, like a big
but then that's not even to take it away from like the reception that Sami Zayn got, because Sami Zayn, loads of people refer to him as he embodies the heart of soul of NXT.
Yeah.
And he got a massive reception as well. And there were points where you had the Nakamura Sami Zayn chants, and they were on par. I can't honestly say that there was one half of the crowd louder than the other.
Yeah. Yeah, they were very. It's almost like that crowd was very appreciative just to be able to witness.
To bear witness to such a match, rather than like he needs to have this match sort of thing.
Matt, this match was hyped to holy hell. We all know that. We even we've done it to ourselves. We've said to ourselves, this match, we're really excited for it. This is basically the main event of this show, what everyone really wants to see.
It was the main event of the weekend. To be fair.
So matches like that, sometimes they really struggle to live up to the expectations.
Like elevated to such a pedestal that you can't even climb to.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're guilty of that sometimes as fans. And with this match, I feel, like myself, that every now and then you get a match that not only lives up to those expectations, but far exceeds them.
It's that point like, I didn't even praise this match enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, me and Matt went back to watch what we've been calling our match of the year contender so far, which is Nakamura against Styles at New Japan.
At Wrestle Kingdom 10.
Wrestle Kingdom 10. Right at the beginning of the year, like 4th of January. And nothing else really has come close to that at this point. We went back to watch it because we know people are going to ask us, what match do we like more? Which is taking up that moniker?
That's it. And like I raised the argument, it's like, well, we'll probably say Zayn because that's the match we've seen most recently.
Yeah.
It's the one freshest in our mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you said,
not anymore because we watched that.
Well, like an hour ago. Yeah, exactly. Like an hour ago, we started watching the Styles match, and there's so many differences.
Yeah,
I can't say one is better than the other. Well, I can when it comes down to like which would you pick as my match of the year. Sami Zayn gets it.
Yeah.
And I think the same can be said.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
The match was amazing at Takeover, but that's not to take anything away from the Wrestle Kingdom 10 match. but it was a match designed and planned for a Japanese crowd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It was like almost like though there's little tweaks in both these matches to cater to the crowds that they wrestled in front of, and even then, that's even saying that's impressive in of itself.
Yeah.
To have the talent able to do that,
to adapt
to it. Yeah. Especially Nakamura's, but like his first match in NXT, right?
Yeah.
Now, what I want to say about this match. In our WrestleMania review, I said before that the match between Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose
was a dud.
Was a dud. It didn't feel like a war. It didn't feel like a genuine fight. It didn't feel like a battle. It didn't feel like both these guys really were hurt that much in the course of the match.
It got half the time this match did.
Yeah.
Like, that's something completely different.
But here we go, Matt. I want to explain just a little bit more, just to get over how much I'm so impressed with this match. That these guys went out there, they beat the shit out of each other. I mean, legit. They were hitting each other hard. They were getting stiff.
We actually got colour in this match.
Yeah, like
because Nakamura busted his nose.
Yeah, busted his nose. So these guys, I mean, at some points, and even like it's not even just at the start; it's throughout the match. Hard hits, really hard hits. There's points in this match where they're forearming each other for a good 2 minutes non-stop.
Yeah, and you
it's
can
not
hear.
Oh, I tap
every one of them.
Yeah, they're not even slapping their arm. It's fucking right into the jaw.
Yeah.
They are hurting each other big time. And they're doing it because it added that legitimacy to the match. Matt, this match felt like a fucking war between both of these guys. So much so that when I look at that Lesnar and Ambrose match,
it's such a disappointment.
It's such a disappointment, even doubly so, because these guys didn't have weapons on their side.
Yeah, but they had weapons, and I feel like the Ambrose Lesnar match had a more of a build up for it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they had segments for weeks, and like. You even had like Mick Foley just sort of like handing over the torch. It's like you're going to be the new sort of face of hardcore, and like with Terry Funk and everything like that. It's like here, have Barbie, have a chainsaw. You had that spit Monday just before Mania where like Ambrose is going around with his shopping trolley and like he's getting weapons, he's getting ready. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that was a bit shit.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a war.
But this one, like it didn't. This match didn't really get much of a build-up, other than the fact that who is Nakamura?
Yeah.
And you saw it, and you saw the video package. You sort of got a feel for it, and and he'll be fighting Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Now I don't know whether it's the fact that it's like the smarter crowd, because they'll go, oh my god,
yeah,
that's amazing. Like just the thought of it on paper. But it's that sort of thing where it's like, yeah, it's what built up as just like. It's going to be a singles match. It's a debut. Right, if you even look at it basically, it's a guy making a debut against Sami Zayn.
Yeah. That is the only story.
This is a no-hold-barred street fight that has been built up for a month.
Yeah.
Maybe more. That involves weapons, and it's Lesnar and Ambrose, who has a history of bleeding everywhere, from everywhere, anywhere.
Yeah.
And that was... nothing. I can't even compare it to like if Nakamura and Zayn was an inferno, I couldn't even say that Lesnar Ambrose was a match.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Even then it just it burns for a little bit and it's done.
Yeah. And people might be saying that, why are you comparing the two matches? Because they're obviously two different styles of matches. I'm just getting over how much of a war that this match seemed like.
Just the sheer the physicality.
Yeah,
and
the physicality was different level. And it added to the match. It did feel like, as over the course of this match, these guys were really beating each other hard. And that's because they were. There's no other way of getting around it. But Matt, the match... itself, the actual wrestling of this was so good. These guys did not put a foot wrong in this entire match. For two guys that I don't believe have ever wrestled each other before, it seemed like they've been wrestling each other forever.
That's it. It was like, you know, you hear stories of like old veterans who have like they've had 1,000 matches together and like
Steamboat Flair sort of thing.
Are we going to plan anything? We just call it on the fly.
Yeah.
And that's what it felt like. It felt like there was not a single moment where like, what's next?
Yeah.
It was just like, bang! If you don't come at me, I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
And it was just, I can't. Yeah, like you're saying, I can't think of words grand enough to describe what we witnessed, and it was the best match of the night.
It was the best match of the weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Easily.
Anything at WrestleMania couldn't even touch this.
Yeah, any of the matches. I think the best match at WrestleMania was that women's match, and as much as I did like that women's
Styles
match,
Jericho.
Yeah, some people may say that doesn't even come close to this.
Like, no, this not even at all.
That's how much of a high regard I put this match on. What a debut for Nakamura! What a way to make his mark and to show everyone exactly what he's about.
That's it. Especially if you're trying to get him over as the king of strong style, and if he came out and beat up Elias Samson in a 40-second, 1-minute match, just because he's Nakamura and his I've already forgotten the name of it. The knee.
The Bomaye.
I think they're calling it something else, but the Bomaye.
Yeah.
It'd be different if he came out, hit the Bomaye, and it's 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But we had a 20-minute match against Sami Zayn, who's proven himself.
Who's game.
Exactly. Who's proven himself in front of the crowd as being a tough son of a bitch. So, okay, he's a tough son of a bitch, and he's a king of strong style. Right. Let's do this.
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be a match that's going to be very fondly remembered for me in a long time. This match was so much fun, and especially after watching this after WrestleMania, I needed this match. Guys.
Yeah,
I think you did too. It was just almost like I need a match that we can sit there and.
We weren't even going to watch Takeover on the Monday.
Yeah,
we were I can't.
Yeah,
I need a day off from wrestling because it's it still hurts sort of thing. Almost like Mania was like a breakup. It's it still hurts.
Yeah.
It's cuts deep, but it's no, we have to watch Takeover. I hear it was good. I need to be reminded that something under the WWE banner is good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, Matt, it's one of those matches that when you watch and you know how good it is and it's still happening, I'm thinking of it to myself, I'm going to enjoy talking about this match, not only at the review, but at the end of the year when we're talking about Match of the Year candidates.
Yeah.
I'm going to enjoy talking about this match again. I'm going to enjoy that being an excuse to go back and watch this match again. That's how good it is. Sami Zayn, from really doing not much on the main roster, which isn't really much his fault, right? Yes. He has put down probably his last marker he probably can do for a long time for a Match of the Year.
Yeah.
Jeez, did he do well here?
That's what I was saying. I said to you earlier. It's if that was to be his last match in NXT, then he's gone out well. If he was to come back and just do a one-off match, or if I'm still not done yet, I don't want to see Zayn on NXT this week.
Yeah, it was the perfect
if that makes sense.
It was the perfect.
I don't want to see him come out and go, and now I'm done. I'm going to the main roster. I just wanted him to sort of he'd walked out with his head held high.
Yeah.
I may have lost, but I fought.
Yeah.
Like hell.
Oh yeah. It was almost like the swan song for Zayn to leave.
Yeah.
It was good then that Nakamura, after getting the win, right, in this match,
shook his hand
and left him to the ring. Right, gave him the ring for a while, even though this was Nakamura's debut match, and
he won.
I don't think you can make a debut as good as this. Honestly, some people may say, oh well, you said that the Matanza debut in Lucha Underground, that's completely different, right? That's completely different in terms of a sheer super studded star match. Making your first mark on the company and showing everyone what you're about. I've not seen someone make such a great impression,
especially to throw it out to compare. I would agree that Nakamura was the greatest debut we've had this year.
Yeah.
Matanza was a great debut.
Yeah.
But Matanza came out and did 7 moves, tops.
Yeah.
Just to fuck over.
And it was the story and the match that got him over.
That's it. Where Nakamura came out, the hype for him was massive.
Yeah.
Same as Matanza. But like I said, Matanza did a few moves, and that was it. And then he screwed over the Aztec Warfare.
Yeah.
Nakamura came out and did 20 minutes of solid, hard-hitting wrestling.
Yeah.
That it showed everything that he was capable of as well. And it was it wasn't even so much of a powerful debut where he hasn't even been tested yet.
Yeah.
No, he basically came out and went straight into the fire.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? And he looked fantastic for doing so. This is fantastic. We'll talk a little bit about where we think that Nakamura is going to go, because we think there's only one place for him to go. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. I almost feel sad that we're moving on to the next match, even though it was the rest of the matches on the card look good. This match was fantastic. I honestly cannot get over how great this match was. But still, let's get into the rest of it then. Otherwise, we'll talk about an hour just about Nakamura and Zayn, and I think we'd be very happy to do so. Asuka versus Bayley for the Women's Championship, NXT Women's Championship. This was a good match. I liked it.
It was a very good match. It was solid. It was much better than bloody...
Nia Jax.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. I forgot her name then.
Yeah. I think this match suffered a little bit just because of just following the Nakamura-Zayn match from the crowd. Yeah. The crowd are pretty exhausted after that. Emotionally, they were spent.
That might be why the crowd couldn't sing the Bayley song properly.
Maybe.
It's like, oh, I'm so tired.
Yeah. I thought both these girls did a fantastic job.
Oh, awesome.
It's not as good as the Sasha Banks matches, I will say that.
No. I loved Asuka's mask. Like the weeping...
Yes.
Like the weeping porcelain.
I do like
great.
That. Her gear was quite nice as well. They kind of changed up the colours of it a little bit.
Probably to match the fact that her hair looks like she's been dumped in a 5-year-old's paint pot.
Yeah.
It's like some red and some green and some blue.
So, what can we say about this match?
Solid.
I think it was a solid match. I think it was a good match. I think it's one of the ones that it was weird because with the crowd being quite spent, and towards the end of the match, I think that the way that the match was designed, they were trying to tease Bayley not tapping out, but then they were building up for her to get out of the move. I think they were quite shocked that that's where the match finished, to a degree. So maybe the big pop of Asuka winning the championship didn't really come, and that maybe that moment didn't come off maybe as well as maybe as it should.
Yeah.
I still think these girls had a great match,
definitely.
And I think it's going to be ones. I think it's going to be one that I think that they will believe after this match is finished that they could have done better. But it ain't no scrub of a match. It's still decent. It's still a good match.
Like they can go out going, I could have done that better, but it's like you make it out like you had a bad match.
Yeah.
No way would I label this as a bad match. But like you said, it probably does suffer from the fact that it had to follow. Put the mic back in place.
Yeah.
Follow Nakamura Zayn.
Yeah. The bar was set
high,
yeah.
And also because of the matches that Bayley had with Sasha Banks. Now you look at like the one that she had at Takeover London, against Nia Jax, who's still very green.
Yeah.
Asuka is not green.
Yeah.
In no way.
Yeah.
It was a good match, and it definitely showed the fact that Asuka is hungry for that belt.
Yeah.
And Bayley is still willing to defend it with everything. There were some really tough moments, like some real hard hitting bits.
This match was stiff in some moments as well. If you look at some of the kicks and stuff.
I think it's the Japanese style.
It is. And you know what?
We were joking about like Asuka's going to kick the wrestling into you.
Yeah.
Like it's not like Bayley needs the wrestling put in her.
Yeah.
She is very good as it is. Yeah. But like I think it's just like Asuka not being able to like dial it back. Sometimes, like heat of the moment, full force. Oh no.
Yeah. You know what I'll say about this match is that, like I said, I think they'll go and I do believe there's going to be a rematch that happens at the next big event. I think that match will be better, but I think Bayley. I think Bayley's going to look at this match and be maybe a little bit disappointed that she didn't lose her title in a bigger moment. But what I think people need to tell her is that, look, you've basically set the bar so high for yourself in terms of your own quality of your own matches. You need to appreciate it when you've had a decent match. Like. And I think fans need to as well.
Like
I think
every match can't be Bayley Sasha.
No, not every match can be. Not every match should be. As well.
That's it.
So, like, I think this match was completely fine. I think it was good. I think there was some great moments here in this match.
I think it was really good. I think it was something they limb targeted and they built everything up very well. Like we saw, did we see a Bayley to Belly?
No, I don't think we did. No.
Asuka was just sort of on her case that much. But it was just solid. There wasn't that many moments where it was sort of like where it had broken down to the fact that like you had sort of two girls just like blowing smoke in the ring.
Oh no,
and it was like they weren't blown up in any way. They were consistently just at it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this match. I would put. No, I won't. I was about to say I'll put this match above the triple threat, but I don't think I would. It's a tough one. It's you know what the thing is.
Tough,
I would say it's about on par.
Yeah, I would agree with that,
comparing a singles match to a triple threat match, they were both very good matches.
We'll talk about the triple threat match from Mania for people not getting that. But I think they're pretty much on the same level. And they're both good matches. They're both really good on their regards. But I think just some fans sometimes I've seen some comments And it's some fans are taking Bayley's matches a little bit for granted, and they're like, okay, it wasn't as good as this match. Well, most 99.9% of matches aren't as good as that match.
Yeah, that's it.
You have to accept it. Bayley may never ever wrestle a match as good as what she did against Sasha Banks ever again.
The thing is, that's like saying, oh, the Undertaker match was good, but it certainly wasn't Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
It's like, just let that match be.
Yeah.
You know, put it on a pedestal as a great match. I do.
Yeah.
But I won't go, well, that was a bit shit because it wasn't that.
Yeah. Oh, no, I fully agree with you. I think, like I said, some fans don't know how good they've got it with Bayley, I think, with some of the matches. And they forget, Matt, some of the quality of some of the Divas matches we had before the NXT women's division came around.
Before NXT even existed.
Exactly. When we were having those Diva matches.
Yeah.
Look back on that and be fucking glad that you're having matches like this, right? Because that's how I look at it. Right, so Asuka wins.
Yeah, Asuka wins this, and I feel like heartbroken.
Yeah, you heard the news about Izzy.
Yeah, it's like inconsolable. It's like had to leave. It's like poor little girl.
But you know what, Matt? I think it was the right choice. I think Bayley's had a great title run. I think she's had some great matches. I think it is time to start transitioning her and meet the rest of her horsewomen.
Get amongst with the rest of the horsewomen.
Especially now that division is on a good path now. I think it could be bolstered with Bayley going in there. When things start to look just a little tiny bit stale, that's when you bring her into the main roster. I think Asuka is
cue hugging.
Yeah, I think Asuka is going to be a great champion. She is a great wrestler. When you're talking about the best two wrestlers currently in the NXT Women's division, it is these two women.
Yeah,
and she had to lose the belt at some point, and who better to lose it to than Asuka? I think it was the right choice.
It.
And
it could have been all red everything.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It could have been Eva Marie.
It could have been Eva Marie.
I think it could have been Carmella.
Yeah.
I like Carmella. But
she's not
champion ready.
She's not champion.
It could have been Bliss.
You're looking at
I don't know actually. Bliss may be able to hold a title
if she's built up properly.
Yeah. There's a lot of the women in there who's like Peyton Royce. Yeah, let's give her the belt.
Well, I've talked about that NXT.
Let's give the girl
backline
with the flower. Was that Peyton Royce?
I don't know. That's the thing. Billy Ray and Peyton Royce. I can barely understand which one is which.
There's the girl who looks like her name is like she looks like she's coming out in a Ferrari.
Oh, Deonna Purrazzo,
yeah, that's
she's not actually signed to NXT. She's she actually showed up on TNA.
We should give Blue Pants the belt.
No.
Yes.
No. Absolutely not.
Not
against Asuka.
Hashtag Blue Pants Championship.
What have I said about listen, I like Blue Pants, but one of the things with her is that sometimes she comes off a little bit soft in her strikes.
Yeah,
if she got in a match with Asuka would beat the shit out of her. She really would.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, like I said, guys, there is a time and place. I think this is as good a time and place as any for Bayley to lose that title. What a title reign she had. Fantastic.
She's put on some great matches.
And guys, like I said, I know we want to keep her on NXT all the while, but she has to go somewhere.
Like a possessive child. It's like Triple H, I want my toys.
Yeah.
I want to keep my toys.
But you know what? Like I said, with some of the guys going up,
it's probably the fact that he's taken one look at
Tyler Breeze.
This hit a point now that he's been so wrecked. I couldn't even remember his name.
Oh dear.
Where Triple H probably looked at Breeze and just go, "Thanks, pups." Yeah, fucked it.
I will give them at least some props here, at least with the women. Looking at what they did at WrestleMania, at least they're going good.
Yeah.
The NXT call-ups for the women so far. And I think Bayley will be doing fine when she goes out there.
The recent ones. The thing is, loads of people seem to forget, Rollins and Ambrose and that are NXT guys.
Yeah.
A Biggie. Maybe not so much Bo. But, Breeze. Neville, yeah.
Listen, we could get into that huge NXT call-up conversation. That's a very lengthy conversation. I know some people of our fans think differently to what we do. But I do firmly believe when it comes to the women, so far the track record is that they've been used
solid.
Quite well.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. So hopefully that continues
from
on.
Paige and up, I can't think of Emma.
Emma, was a bit of a fail, but even then now she's kind of got things back around in her favour.
I think Emma and Summer are the two women who got wasted on main roster.
Yeah, I think Summer Rae to a degree, with Summer Rae. Yeah, I think she's a better wrestler than what most people think. She's not on the level of the Four Horsewomen at all. She's not even close, or Asuka or anything like that. So, but anyway, I think that was okay. Asuka winning the championship. I think this was a good match. I just think it suffered from the fact that it followed a phenomenal 5-star match.
Yeah.
And this was like 3.5 stars, and I think that maybe, and that's okay. And I think honestly, it would have been a case of if it hadn't have followed that, I think it would have looked a lot better in comparison. People would look at it much more fondly. But it's still good. It's still fine. Finn Balor against Samoa Joe 2 for the NXT Championship.
2?
Yeah, it's the second match I've had against each other.
Was this the second match?
London.
Yeah, but I'm sure there was a third.
Well, maybe. No, it's the second match. In title matches.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, Finn Balor coming out, Texas Chainsaw Massacre going around with a chainsaw that clearly had the guard on, but good, because all I could think of was him just throwing it.
Especially when he just tossed it.
Yeah.
It was like if that was a live chainsaw.
That would be bouncing around everywhere. Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't run, because both the triggers haven't been pulled, but it's like you can't just go throwing chainsaws at the crowd.
Now, we've been talking a little bit about his ink. His big thing is about the demon.
Yeah.
We were a little bit disappointed with the ink this time around.
I like the claws like he had on his temple.
Yeah.
I love his paint.
Yeah.
But I think from where he's had previous ones where he didn't really have anything on his back. He had like a little blacked out neck with a little trail that came between his shoulders.
Yeah.
But like on previous ones, he's had the one eye of the demon, and for
the
Beast in the East, he had, I still can't remember the name of the demon, but it's like, obviously he was in Japan, so I know it is a Japanese beast.
In Brooklyn, it was the gargoyle, wasn't it? From Brooklyn?
Yeah, he had a gargoyle in Brooklyn. We can't remember London, but...
No. But he had something for that as well.
Yeah,
like
and I think it was almost like he couldn't, like he ran out of time to get his paint done.
It looked a little bit like that.
Because it was just,
it was very basic.
It was very basic. Because actually, wasn't it his first time he came out as the paint? He had the eye. No,
the first time he just came out, and it was just almost like the first time debuting it. And I still think the first time he came out was better than the one he had.
It was more crisp. I didn't like the blue.
The blue was okay. I don't know if the design was better with the blue. Like I don't know. It's still good.
It's still very good.
But in comparison to the ones he's done before, it just doesn't stand up. That's all I'm saying there. But
are we not going at his paint the same way that we're going as Bailey Sasha?
A little bit.
Good.
It's good.
But he's had better.
But he's had better a little bit, yeah. But still, let's talk about the actual match. So this match is a bit controversial because right at the beginning of this match, Joe gets cut, right, and he gets cut from a headbutt. They clash heads, right. I mean, literally, we're talking about 20 seconds into the match.
Yeah.
And it's a cut that doesn't stop bleeding. I mean, initially the blood is everywhere.
A lot.
All over his eye, all over his body. It is gushing big time. To the point
and it made Joe look so much meaner.
It did, actually. We said that there was a certain point where he's looking there and the blood's running down his face, because he's not phased, of course. Like, he's still doing his job. He looked demonic. He looked scary, right?
Yeah.
The thing is here, so the big talking point in this match is the fact that immediately with the blood, referee dons his gloves, and through multiple times in the match, I'm talking about 3 or 4 times, they stop the match to clean up Joe and to patch up his wound. I mean, at the same time, Joe's throwing these guys off. He doesn't want anything to do with them here, which I agree with, because I think it takes away from the match, right? That is supposed to be this...
Well, it's the pacing, isn't it?
Match, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a grudge match that if he's got to bleed, he's got to bleed.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Plus, he's Joe. He's worked in this sort of condition before.
Yeah.
Like, it's the one thing because I remember Corey Graves just like, oh, but what if blood gets in his eye and all things like that, and the swelling to close his eye? It's like, shut up, Graves.
Well, that's what combat sports is, isn't it?
Like, but like he's almost taking it away from the fact that it's like, when all of a sudden it's like, I don't give a damn, like, I have to come for your belt, I will do everything to get your belt.
I'm going to destroy you.
Oh, I'm bleeding a little. Well, not a little, but...
Yeah, but...
Like, and then all of a sudden it's like, out come the medics, and they're like, no! It's like, oh, momentum, dead.
Yeah. It came
They picked back up very well.
Yeah.
Like, the moment Joe was, like, ready, they got back in, and it was pretty much like you've just paused something and hit play again.
Yeah, I tell you what annoyed me a little bit is fine. If you want to do it first off and you want to get him cleaned up, I've got no problem with that, because you need to check at very least that the guy's okay.
Yeah.
And for his safety.
And the condition of the wound.
And the condition of the wound. Why they kept stopping it like 3 times after that?
Yeah, 3-4 times total.
To the point there where the fans started turning a little bit on the match.
Well, fuck PG.
Fuck PG was a chant.
Let Joe bleed.
Yeah.
And like all these chants, they were essentially just like, just let him do it.
Yeah. It almost came to a point, Matt. I'm glad they stopped when they did, because it would come to the point they're almost killing the match. They were getting close to killing the match.
Yeah.
Now after they left it, like after that point, I mean, we had a good 7-8 minutes then of just good wrestling with these guys doing their thing, and they didn't get involved anymore, even though I think they had closed the wound at that point, but there was still a little bit here and there that was coming out. It's just one of those things that happens, and I know WWE have got this super strict no blood policy. They really do. They don't want blood anywhere across what's going on. I think there's a time and place where you overdo it to the point where they almost killed this main event.
Yeah,
they almost
agreed.
did it.
I think the thing is, just like a no blood policy, I think is fine, but I think they need to lay down the law of the difference between no blood and no blade.
Yes. Oh, I firmly agree with you. Like, this was completely accidental.
Like we go back to Lesnar Undertaker. I don't believe Lesnar bladed.
No,
sorry.
I think it was just a gush.
It was legit. He hit that pole.
Yeah.
He hit the post firm.
Yeah.
And as a result, legit bled.
And he's got a history of doing that, by the way. Like that. He's an easy bleeder.
Yeah, it's because Lesnar's a fucking freak.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care if he's going to bleed. If it looks good, then I'll run my head into it.
Yeah.
At full.
Yeah. He's got absolutely no problem doing that.
And I think, as a result of something that was clearly not a blade job, the momentum died.
Yeah.
And I get, like, oh, it's going to scare the kids and things like that, but it's like...
Especially to the NXT crowd, it's a little bit
like... To the NXT crowd, which is more diehard.
Yeah.
Like, WWE, like, people keep saying that WWE's demographic now, where during the Attitude Era it was between, like, the 18 to 30s.
Yeah.
Of male as well. And now it's like, well, we've now got dad of 40 brings kid of 5 with grandma of 70 sort of thing.
Yeah, it's that nuclear family sort of thing.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
NXT's not like that.
No.
I don't believe NXT is the nuclear family.
No.
NXT is your 18 to 30
It's
demographic.
us, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I would want to bring my kid there, but it's along the lines that I want to bring my kid there because... once they're old enough to understand that this would be like this is garnered, and the show's designed towards us in that degree, right? It's designed towards that demographic, so I get it, and I've got no problem with them stopping the match first off, because you need to make sure that at the very least it's safe for him to continue.
Yeah.
If he hits a certain part of his and
like,
you
especially
can't stop
like,
it,
are you concussed?
Yeah. First of all. But I think it was pretty easy to see from the first off that Joe, you want to patch up, you want to stop, like, you want to maybe clean him off. I've got no problem with that. They just kept every now and then they just kept stopping the match to a point that even, like, Balor was like, just stop it, like, let us
yeah, like, you knew
this.
There was a point where Joe was on the ramp.
Yeah. And
he was getting cleaned off, and he'd lost all of his fight.
Yeah.
Like, there was a point, because earlier on, like, in the ring and outside the ring, on the other side... Joe was like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, the medical team were literally like hammering the DOS, like, quick, while he's not swiping, jab.
Like the referee,
like almost reaching in for like just a quick clean. Like Joe wasn't going to let them clean him up.
He was pissed off. He really was.
And then he just hit a point where he was on the ramp, and he just goes,
fine. They have to do it, because they obviously weren't going to let the match continue until he did. I do think it took away from the match. I will say though, however.
Good match.
I thought this match was really, really good. I think these guys, like you say there, Matt, I think it was good because they kept the same intensity. Once they finally were let back to each other, it wasn't like they started the match from stress. It was like, okay, straight into hard clotheslines, hard hits.
Yeah.
And this match as well was quite stiff.
Yes.
Like, from that Nakamura match, things got really stiff on this show. They really were like hitting each other pretty hard. It felt like a grudge match. I was quite impressed. Matt, I actually think, even with those distractions aside, I thought this was a better match than their London match.
Yeah, I could put that.
And even then, that's with my bias because I was there at London, right?
Yeah.
I still think this was a better match because it felt more like a grudge match. It felt like both these guys would have to kill each other. The one thing I thought was a bit weird, though, with the finish, with Balor retaining the championship, was Joe's reaction to that, because I honestly thought the way that Joe was looking was that the end of the show was going to be him basically just destroying Balor.
Yeah.
But instead he just kind of walks out. It makes you wonder what they're going to go with Joe. But obviously Joe can't challenge for the championship. He's had 2 cracks at it now.
Yep,
It makes no sense.
2 losses. Who's next?
Yeah, who's next? And
Nakamura.
Yeah, that's basically what we're saying. I think, honestly, at the end of the show, you're looking at number one contenders for it. You've got Corbin, who's gone up to the main roster.
Yep.
You've got Zayn, who's gone up to the main roster. You've had Joe, who's had 2 cracks at it. I don't think he should get a third.
Cruz now on the main roster.
Cruz now on the main roster. That actual division,
there's not. Do you know the odd thing is, like we joke about like the main roster, and they're like they don't have much in the way of like a tag division, like especially as of late. People are like, oh, you got the New Day, and it was like, no, New Day, yeah, okay,
yeah.
I couldn't give 2 fucks about the League of Nations.
Yeah.
The Usos, I loved the Usos. I don't care for them nowadays.
Yeah.
The Dudleys are too busy, just like we're the greatest ever, feuding with the Usos,
which is boring.
Which is boring
honest.
as hell.
Yeah.
Where's Los Matadores? The Ascension are a joke.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few tag teams. There's not that many really now. But now NXT's in a different situation where they don't really have a lot of big name single male competitors.
Yeah, they've taken a lot of them away.
It's really bizarre.
Yeah.
It's almost like the main roster's like gone a bit greedy this season. It's like, I'm going to take this, and this.
Yeah, I think the next big, you want a big marquee match. I think the only one that makes sense is Nakamura and Balor
or Aries.
No, I don't even think Aries. I think Aries to have a good match maybe, but not. I think
that's it. I'm just sort of going off. Yeah, agreed.
I mean, the next one going off like could be
male. I'm just talking about just like male talent that I think is ready for a title position.
There's not. Oh yeah, there's not really much there. I agree with you, but I think that you've got a ready-made number one contendership match there with Nakamura and Aries.
Yeah,
and I think Nakamura wins that, and then he goes on to face Balor for the championship.
Yeah,
that's your next big match. And Joe, you can do whatever you like with him from there. Whether or not what you want to do with him, you have to tell a good story. I think now with him, because now it looks quite bad on him that he's lost these 2 matches.
Yeah.
I still think he comes across like a monster, and he's a great heel for them. I don't think they should change that. But you can't then make him go for the championship again. It just makes doesn't make much sense.
It.
He's had 2 pops and lost both. That's the way that I believe it goes. Let's talk about the show in general, though, Matt.
Great.
What a show! This was a lot of fun. I think this was better than London, just being in a more critical sense.
Yeah.
In terms of the matches in there, I think you've got what is so far, and you'd have to do a really, really good match to top it. The match of the year with Nakamura and Zayn, which was the best match of the weekend. And I'm very much doubt
this event was better than Mania.
Yeah, well, we've still got Raw to watch. I don't think anything's going to beat that Nakamura Zayn match. I'll be very shocked if
you're expecting a match better than Nakamura Zayn on Raw.
It's the Raw after WrestleMania. Anything can happen. I very much think it's very unlikely.
Like, okay, I mean, at one point we had Cesaro versus Cena as a good contender for match of the year, but I don't think you're going to find Nakamura Zayn caliber on Raw.
No. And you know what? It makes me really excited for where they're going to start going. In obviously next week they're just going to show the dark matches, but the week after when they start moving on with some new storylines,
they go back to Full Sail,
where they're going to go with this title. I think, Matt, now is the golden opportunity. Now they've had a lot of talent go up to the main roster. I said a long time ago, I love all the indie stars coming in. That's great. Yeah. It looks like Bobby Roode's coming in, so that should be fun.
Yeah.
What I think that they should do now is a golden opportunity for them to pad out some of their roster by bringing in some of the new guys in. I always like NXT. Yeah, I like it having the indie stars, but NXT wants some of the fun of it was having these new characters come in, seeing them develop, seeing them get better. That's one of the reasons I like Corbin.
This may even be the point where we see Josh, like tough enough. Josh.
I don't even think he's ready.
Well, but it's along that sort of lines where they do trial camps. They bring people in.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in NXT that haven't made any sort of
it's like you
TV
saw,
debut.
Like for those that watch Breaking Ground, like you had all of these people who were like
Tito Sabatelli.
Yeah. Has he been on TV?
No, he hasn't made his NXT debut yet.
He has been. No, he has. Well, no, he's only been on live shows as well.
That's it. Yeah,
he's not been on TV.
That's what I mean. His TV debut. Yeah.
There were quite a few people that they mentioned, and they were like, "Oh, you just see in the background, like I don't even know who that person is."
Yeah. Hugo Knox is one of the
guys. Hugo Knox. He's had his TV debut now, but he had his TV debut in a squash.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like it's sort of like I mean, Jordan and Corbin have had similar style matches before the actual character came to the fore. So maybe it's time for them to take 1 or 2 of those guys and really see what they can do with them. Introduce new. I'm not saying make them wrestle against Nakamura and Balor. They're not on that level yet. But it's time to pad out this the men's division now.
ZZ versus Nakamura.
No, oh God. Now, if there was one guy to kick the wrestling into as easy and make him understand what it's about, then I'm sure that
Nakamura will oblige.
He will happily oblige. This is a great show. Where does it stack up on NXT shows? I don't know yet, Matt. I think we'd have to go back and watch them all. Watch them all was a good idea.
But that sounds like an afternoon, doesn't it?
It's a good afternoon. But I thought it was a great show. This easily, if you're going to ask me, guys, what beats WrestleMania, I think it was almost insulting to ask that question. When you look at the quality of the two shows, this is less than half of the length of WrestleMania, with clearly a lot less of the budget. This is just a better show, top to bottom. It's not over. It's not bloated, Matt. Every match got their time. Every match had a decent build-up. The only one that didn't was the Nakamura Zayn match, but just the sheer quality of that match just blows it out of the water.
Like we were talking about this, like American Alpha versus the Revival was better than New Day versus Legion. Not Legion,
League of Nations.
But that wasn't even that. But then that never became a tag match anyway. A tag team title match. Sorry. But Alpha Revival better than New Day League
without question
by far. Like for the women's match, okay, Asuka and Bayley was probably on par with the women's match of Mania.
Cancels each other out.
Balor and Joe, 100 times better than Triple H and Reigns.
Without question.
But then I don't even know whether it's. The thing is, I zoned out so early in Triple H's Reigns. I don't even know if I could even say if it was.
That match was an angry blur.
I was going to say, but if I went back and watched it, maybe I would one day say that it was a good match. I don't know. I zoned out too early. But in my opinion, currently, Balor and Joe, much better than Triple H Reigns. Like for rival single matches, Nakamura and Zayn was better than Jericho Styles. So like if you were to draw comparative matches,
it beats it. It beats it. And not only that, Matt, it's just because it's a tighter show. It's only 2 hours 10 minutes roughly. It's a tighter show. All the matches got their time. There was not a wasted moment on this show. Everything was. This is what a good 2 hour wrestling show can give you.
There's no bullshit advertisement as well. Because the one thing I love watching NXT Takeover events is let's start off with American Alpha and Revival. And we had like a 5-minute video package. We pretty much had not the entirety, but we had a fair chunk of the Jason Jordan Gable one. We also had a Revival video package match. Celebrate, bam, Austin Aries, Baron Corbin, video packaging. And it's just sort of like, there wasn't any hanging around, or any just dicking about. There wasn't any pre-show panel. It's just, bam, video package.
Or half an hour
intense match. What are we going to do? Let's have Rock with a flamethrower. Great idea.
No, this is just all killer, no filler. That's a great way to do it. If I'm going to give this a review on our rating, just to remind everyone what our review is, at the very bottom is avoid it like the plague, then you've got skip it, then you've got catch it once, then you've got all like watch it time and time again. This is watch it time and time again. This is top on our rating. I think this is a great show overall. I think it's one of the ones that, sure, you're going to watch that Shinsuke Nakamura and Zayn match time and time again. But the rest of the show was good enough to make you think, well, instead of watching that one match, let's just watch the entire show again. Let's watch the whole thing again, because the rest of the show was really, really good. And NXT slays WWE. That's the way I look at it in that sense.
I've seen it going around the internet. Was like this picture of like, dear WrestleMania, beat that, developmentally yours, NXT, and it's like, it's true.
And I'll tell you what, WrestleMania, for all the pageantry, the 100,000 fans at big stadium, all the fancy entrances, it couldn't get close to this show. That's just the bottom line of it there, for sheer entertainment value, and that's just the way.
As a wrestling show, like the World Wrestling Entertainment, They failed.
With NXT, they really showed you what 2 hours of a wrestling show can give you, and I think they did it again. They always do it. They in these takeover shows, they always show you what a 2 hour wrestling show can be at almost at its very max. And they always show you that. Big thumbs up for us here on this, guys. A really positive review. We needed this show. And I'm glad we did it after WrestleMania, because I feel that we needed it after WrestleMania.
Agreed.
It really picked us up. We were watching it here on like the Monday night, and we were just like, thank God we watched this, like, because it really. We're gonna watch wrestling anyway. Even on Raw, they can do good shows every now and then, but WrestleMania wasn't that great this year. We were feeling a bit down, feeling a bit bummed. We watched this, and it's like, This is why we watch wrestling.
Yeah.
This is the reason why. Awesome stuff for them, and I think everyone on the show deserves a pat on the back and told, yeah, fantastic, great job. So overall, Matt, let's give our plugs and get the hell out of here. We've done a humdinger review of this show, you and me, sitting next to each other. If you guys would like to interact with us, let us know your thoughts on NXT Takeover Dallas. You can do it on our Facebook account, which is facebook.com/Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast. If you want to tell us how awesome we are in reviewing these awesome matches, you can send us a tweet. Matt loves that.
I love tweets.
Yeah. And
especially on the handle.
Yeah, what is that handle?
Well, that handle?
Yeah.
You mean at Talk Wrestle Pod?
Yeah, exactly. That handle's back again. Guess who's
handle's back?
Handle's back. Tell a friend, actually, that would help us out.
Yeah, I do.
And of course, you can send us any emails at and audio questions, of course, at Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast at gmail.com. That's all the plugs out the way. Thank you very much for joining us here on this review of the show. And if you'd like to subscribe, if you're a new listener to the show, fantastic. You can catch our weekend show that hopefully we can fit in before Matt goes over. That'll be quite fun. I don't know how I'm going to hide my trivia for you, but I'll. I might.
And like I said to you on the last show, you can't be too bad because I'm next to you.
I'll make it
amazingly
easy for you this week, just to make up for.
I'll get your daughter to hit you if it's not.
She would actually, yeah. She likes you more than me this weekend because you're more fun. Uncle Matt comes over. That's the way it is.
That's it.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll leave you to it. Go watch the show again. Hell of a lot of fun. If you haven't caught it and you're waiting for our review of it, then just go straight now. Just don't even stop. Even if you're at work, stop working right now. Just go straight and go watch this show. Awesome stuff. All right then, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
We'll catch you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.